Good morning and welcome to the Drive-In with Edna J. White. I am so excited because today is Terrific Tuesday and I wanted to talk to you about God using your pain for your purpose in life. I know sometimes we don't like to talk about pain and we don't like to get involved with pain and we don't like to share painful parts of us with anybody, to be honest. And most of the time, ego tells us that if they do learn of your pain or your past or your tragedy, you end up that being used against you. But the only thing that could ever be used against you is a lie. The truth, once set free, even the biggest monster cannot deal with it, cannot have nothing to say against the truth. And your truth is your truth. So going back to the pain that God uses for us to get out here in this world and actually affect people instead of infect people, we should be doing. A lot of us go to work in jobs that we really don't enjoy. And I say to that, if it's not enjoyable, it's not something that you can do with ease, then it's not in God's purpose and you're not being used to its fullest potential. It's just like a singer who can carry every octave but only sings in the lowest comfortable octave. That's what you're activated in. So when God begins to use you in your purpose, He uses the pain. Because as we know, we're spirit beings living this human life. So how are humans connected? Of course, it's by pain. It's about something that's familiar to them. So when we are looking to affect other people in a service, and it's not always that it's a ministry. A ministry is just an ongoing living production of effectiveness. So it's not preaching in a pulpit. It's not preaching the word exactly. It's actually living your life. It's ministering through your life. So your life is not always preaching and your life is not always prophesying. Your life is your life. It's the way you live it. And that is your true ministry. So how does God use your pain for His purpose? Well, you see that I said His purpose, not yours, because sometimes we use our symptoms, not our pain, our symptoms of the pain, for our purpose in order to move forward in the business or what have you. So it kind of takes us a long time to get this process. It takes us a long time to be in purpose with God. Why? Because we're too worried about what other people are going to say. Well, I portrayed my mother, my father, my sisters, my brother, my family, my community as this great oracle that gave me so much influence. And now I have to admit that my mother didn't teach me anything. I have to now admit that I wasn't told about what sex was. I had to admit that I never was taught about money. I had to admit that I was never appreciated. And we get into the ego part of it, but God wants to get into the purpose part of it. So He uses our pain if we allow the Spirit to operate and not our lower level ego to operate. We will move in the process that we need to become what God wants us to be. It not always looks the same. You know, I have clients that do come to me and strategize on plans on how to move forward in their businesses, how to move forward in their ministry. And it not always looks like Lisa Nichols. It not always looks like Oprah or Iyanla Van Zandt. It doesn't always look like that. But one thing is for sure, success is different for everyone. It's what you want out of it. Now, if you want big, you're going to get big. If you want minor things just to affect one or two people, you're going to get that. It's all according to you. And people always dream about, see how Oprah or Iyanla or Lisa Nichols or these other big people are making it in this world. But they put in the work and they are in their purpose. See, somewhere down the line, they had to act out. If it was an actor, they were acting above and beyond their pain. So what did they do? They became someone that they can actually say, I can become anybody. I'm going to tap into that pain and I'm going to move forward. Now, whether they heal from that pain and not just use the pain, that's another subject altogether. But what I'm saying is God uses your pain for his purpose, not for your purpose, but for his purpose. So when it's in his purpose, you will get the healing you need to heal that pain. You will also be able to speak about that pain. You will also be able to affect other people by talking about, by writing about, by speaking about, by sharing what that pain did to you and how you were able to rise above it. See, most people, when they talk about their pain, they stay in the pain, and there's all poison that comes out of it. There's no reason why or no result behind what is there that we can do. What is the change? I used to go to a lot of events that were for survivors and trauma victims. I heard all the negativity, but I didn't hear one way to get out of that. I didn't hear, I heard, call the 800 number, get mental health, but I didn't hear one person say, this is what I did when I was on the brink of suicide. I was there right with you, but something in me, you have the strength to do it. What was that piece? Well, not many people will share that with you because they're living in their pain and not in God's purpose. You see, we can talk a great line about how life is not supposed to be. It's horrible. This is happening, that is happening. But there's one thing that they will not share with you. One thing that this is what I did to rise above it. This is how I'm making my life better. People will not share that with you because their lower ego, the lower spirit, which is the ego, wants to have that soothing. There's a payoff for all of that. I have risen above my payoff moment. Okay, I have risen above that because as a child, I wasn't noticed. Even though I was the oldest, I was not noticed. I was always given all the work, and I was never recognized for any of it. So a lot of the things that I did in my earlier childhood or adulthood, it was to get the recognition from adults. But I've risen above that because I had to know or understand that I was the one that was given the accolades. And if I was doing something in the spirit of what it was supposed to be meant to be given, if I was doing something that made me happy, it made other people happy. See, I didn't get that until later on in life because no one shared that with me. I had to learn that by trial and error. If I did something that made me happy, I made other people around me happy. So the accolades came easy. So people began to say that was great and acknowledge me because I was making me happy first. So going out and doing something to make other people happy, all it does is get you empty, echoed, ego-soothing emotions. That's all it does. And it doesn't last long. So in the retrospect of what God wants to do in your life, You have to be all about knowing one, you are one with God and God is one with you, and you are one with all these other people, everything in this world. See, we don't get that part. We don't get that part. We get the part that, some of us think that we're higher than others. We get the part that some of us is separated from others. Some of us have gone through different things, so that makes us different from others. We kind of, fine-tune the biases. So we don't think that we're in the class of other people. But when you get the fact that you are one with everyone and you are one with God at the same time, when you really get that, because I really got that. When I was in a car accident, I really got that. God created me all over again. And I really got that part that I was one with him and he was one with me and I was one with everything that's happening. See, I got that. And I could live in my purpose with God. Now I can live in the pain of what I went through. I can learn from that, and then I can actually have lessons that I can share with other people. Now, how do I make that purpose effective or make it my business so that I am abundant in that? Is to share it with results. You can't be something that you're talking about and you're not. You can't be telling me that to buy a house that you've never bought one. You can't tell me that, let's say, about relationships and you never had one. Or you had one that has no results. Every actual relationship, whether it be sister, brother, mom, daughter, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, associate friend, job, all have lessons. We have to learn to take note of those lessons. We have to learn to establish that, okay, this person taught me this, no matter who it is. See, we go around wearing our pain on our sleeves. That's what gives so many people, it doesn't even give people ammunition against us. It gives us an open wound that if people are a little spicy, can take and throw on to that open wound. So, just like if you have an open wound on your arm, and somebody has a lemon, and the lemon, they squeeze the lemon, and it goes in the cut. What does it do? It makes you pull back and say, ouch. Well, wearing your pain on your sleeve or being emotional or carrying that pain around doesn't allow other people, doesn't target you, but allows other people's poison to spill out on you openly. So it's not their fault if you are affected by something they say. Because your pain is so open, you're wearing it, it's not their fault. See, we want to control other people around us, but we don't control ourselves around our own selves. Do you get that? We are to deal with ourselves. Stop trying to apply quotes, Bible scriptures, hieroglyphics, whatever stop trying to apply other things to other people. Apply it to yourself. Stop trying to get other people right because of your pain. Because let me just tell you this. People, when they are upset with other people that they did them wrong, right? And I just acknowledge this for myself. The thing that rubs you wrong about someone that you were in relationship with, that they are a narcissist, they are all about themselves, they are manipulators, they are this, they are that, they are users, they're all these things. But how come you know that answer after the relationship was over and not during or not before? What was off in you? I had to ask myself that you didn't notice or that you didn't want to notice. So when you stop blaming and all that outside stuff and you start looking within, you start using That's purposeful pain. That's purposeful. Now I'm taking my pain to another level. Now I'm purposely directing and focusing and learning from that pain. That's what God wants you to do. See, a lot of it is we want to lay it at the altar and let God fix it. But a lot of these choices that we've made had nothing to do with God. We made the choice. He gave us an innate creature, which is our higher spirit or higher self, to be able to discern what we should and shouldn't do. But we turn that off, or we don't allow it. It's not even turning off. We don't even allow things to be said to us through the innate creature. So we don't even allow that to happen. I think that most of us want to find an excuse, want to find camaraderie. But one thing I always wanted was someone to tell me what was right, what was a righteous way to go. Not what was right or wrong, but what was righteous for me. Righteous means adaptable for me. What was righteous? What should I do in my circumstance? Not in your circumstance, but in my circumstance. And I think most people don't want that. They want to stay in the pain a little bit because they don't want to mend. They want to recommend. They want to meddle. They don't want to heal themselves. They just want to, stay in that for a little while because they want some attention and they want a payoff, because I've been duped all this time and I lost all of this time and it was a waste of time for me. So people live in that. But if you really want to heal, you'll dig into that pain. You'll get with a life coach such as myself, or a mental health counselor or a therapist, and you will dig deep into why you do what you do when you do it. It's simple as that. Sometimes we come about in this life that we don't have the ability to, or the skill set from our close family members to do any of that. So when we know better, we do better. That's just simple as that. If we need help, we ask for a helping hand. How do you think that we're going to ever move forward if we don't get help for ourselves, invest in ourselves? Well, I'll tell you this. If we need to go to the doctors, we reach out to the doctors, right? But what's wrong with reaching out to somebody, paying for that service, taking care of yourself? If you're in your purpose, all of that stuff will be handled. All of that stuff will be paid for. The universe will make sure that you have in order to invest in yourself. It's happened to me plenty of times and still happening. No matter what it is, you're the creator of your life. Let God purposefully create in you a new way of living in this pain. Purposely use that pain so that you can be directed in this life. This is Edna J. White, and I thank you for hanging out with me today. Please share this video, put in comments, but always stay around so that we can talk. This is Edna. Bye for now.